the general idea is if you simply want to take a plain vanilla investment position, then you buy a spot Bitcoin ETF and you just hold it. And that's a very safe, simple, straightforward thing to do. You're taking counterparty risk to the ETF provider and then their vendors, right? You've got risk to BlackRock and you've got risk to BlackRock's custodians, and you read the filings, and you've got risk to Bitcoin, right? Those are your three risks.
So there you have it from Michael Saylor. We're going to hear more from this clip. Michael's going in. You don't want to miss it. Getting straight into it. Taking a look at the Bitcoin price chart at the current time of this recording. We are back above 67,000. How high will Bitcoin go? If we zoom into the price action, what do we see? What do we anticipate? So we see that Bitcoin seems to have you putting in some higher highs and higher lows. So what's next in the cards for Bitcoin? So this double bottom, this could be a double bottom right here. Then we put in a higher high from this previous high here, and then we put in a higher low from the previous low here. And we just recently broke past this previous high around the $65,000 peak. Will we hold? Will we come back down and retest this before we come back up to the next level? If we look to the right, if we look to the left in the charts, we might see some confluence around the 68 range, and then after that, the next level will be towards that previous all-time high in the $71,000 to $73,000 range. Will Bitcoin have enough steam to blast through this purple line if we make it back up there? Now, MicroStrategy did something weird today. We'll take a look at that. We'll hear more from Michael Saylor, but as you see, this down channel, this downtrend channel, we have busted out of it. Will Bitcoin hold this? We come back down. Time will definitely tell. As mentioned, Bitcoin blasted up today. It was extremely, extremely parabolic. But one thing, what did MicroStrategy do? MicroStrategy went down. So this isn't what people have been used to. As you know, you see the NAV premium actually went down when Bitcoin went up. It's at 2.33. It was up to almost 2.8. Now, why is this happening? Could Michael Saylor be gearing up for another convertible debt? Could he be selling some more shares to buy more Bitcoin? That could be announced around the corner. So this might be the reason for this major dump. They own a lot of stock, so they could sold near the top, get a better position, buy some more Bitcoin, and watch the price rinse and repeat. But Bitcoin banks will never do this. Saylor shouldn't let MicroStrategy do this. Hal Finney envisioned Bitcoin banks all the way back in 2010. As you see here, Hal Finney was one of the OGs of crypto. Rest in peace. He had some direct interaction with Satoshi. There's speculation and conspiracy surrounding his death. But what he's saying here, way back in 2010, there's very good reason for Bitcoin-backed banks to exist, issuing their own digital cash currency, redeemable for Bitcoins. Bitcoin itself cannot scale to have every single financial transaction in the world to be broadcast to everyone and included in the blockchain. So this is what Hal Finney predicted way back when, in 2010, when Bitcoin wasn't even known to the majority of us. That was the early OG days. What were you doing back in 2010? Yeah, you can check out this. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you. So we look at the Bitcoin price chart, taking a quick look at MicroStrategy. The market is closed right now. And forgive us for the late video today. We were traveling, a little tired, had to report to you. But we've showed you this, and it seems like MicroStrategy is coming out the depths as well. And this could be that leg 1, leg 2. Could this be the end of leg 3? We don't quite know. This could, as you see here, this could be 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like there's more than 5 waves right here, but we're just sort of trading in its upwards channel. This could be wave 1, wave 2. We could be in wave 3 right now within this third leg. This could be wave 1, 2. Third leg could blast up extremely high. 4, have that blast off top for 3. Have the pullback sometime, coming back down to a lower range. We'll see what our fibs are once the 3 leg tops out, and then having that 5th leg blow off top. So MicroStrategy could just be trading in this upwards channel as we've been doing right here, just respecting the resistance, support, resistance, support. Are we going to come back up and get back towards that resistance prior to having the next pullback? Time will definitely tell. Without further ado, let's hear more from Michael Saylor.
The general idea is if you simply want to take a plain vanilla investment position, then you buy a spot Bitcoin ETF and you just hold it. And that's a very safe, simple, straightforward thing to do. You're taking counterparty risk to the ETF provider and then their vendors, right? You've got risk to BlackRock and you've got risk to BlackRock's custodians, and you read the filings, and you've got risk to Bitcoin, right? Those are your three risks. With an operating company, a Bitcoin miner can generate BTC yield. An operating company can generate BTC yield. If you generate 100 million in cash flow and buy Bitcoin, you'll generate a yield, right? If you issue equity at a premium to buy Bitcoin, you'll generate a yield. If you issue a convertible bond at a premium, you'll generate a yield. I mean, there's some things you could do. Like if you buy an ice cream truck company for equity and you get no more Bitcoin, but you issue a bunch of shares of equity, that will be dilutive. You'll have a negative yield, right? If we were to go and buy $1 billion ice cream truck company, we would have a negative BTC yield, right? And if you're a BTC investor, you would say, what are you guys thinking, right? So it's by the way, a lot of times people do dilutive acquisitions all the time, and no one can figure out if they're dilutive or not. The beauty of BTC yield is if you're on a Bitcoin standard and you calculate that metric the way that we've defined it, any investor, any Bitcoin maximalist investor can see immediately whether the companies they're invested in are doing rational things that increase the amount of Bitcoin per share, or they're doing foolish things that decrease Bitcoin per share, right? And so I think it's a very useful thing for companies on the Bitcoin standard, or if you're an investor that wants to accumulate more Bitcoin, because you as an operating company, you can do things to create BTC yield. An SEC 40 company or a trust probably can't, right? That if you want to understand the difference between MicroStrategy and Marathon and say BlackRock's IBIT and FBTC, MicroStrategy and Marathon can create BTC yield, right? We can also, create negative BTC yield, right? Like we can buy a portfolio of apartments in San Francisco with billions of dollars of equity, and we can brag about what a great deal it is, but it didn't generate any yield. It generated, minus something, right? So we have the option to do intelligent things or not intelligent things, and that's the counterparty risk. You're taking risk to the management team and the management strategy. So operating companies can do that. And this is an interesting metric to evaluate them. Trust companies, they can't. And that's kind of like why you want to put, if you want to buy gold and you want to leave it in your portfolio for 40 years, you don't want to wake up and find out that the CEO of the GLD decided to do a mortgage back, a junk bond to buy ice cream truck companies and speculate on whatever, because it's just too many, complications for you. So there's a place for both strategies, but I think people have struggled with the idea of how do I know what's accretive and dilutive? And BTC yield is a simple metric that we're doing because our shareholders want more Bitcoin per share, and they've said it loudly and frequently. But I also think it's a contribution to the entire community, and I think that any company that wants to pursue a Bitcoin standard would be wise to stare at that KPI and think about adopting it, because it's just a useful communications tech tool.
And Saylor's explaining how companies should be paying attention to what he's doing, because this is going to be the standard, the Bitcoin standard for Fortune 100, Fortune 500, publicly listed companies that are looking to get Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Looking at the KPI, looking at other metrics and how MicroStrategy has been performing, and leapfrogging against company valuations as far as the top 100, 200 companies globally. Just because of Bitcoin, nothing's changed with their underlying business. They just bought Bitcoin and did nothing different. A Bitcoin bank is going to change the world. With that, I'm Sean with the Bitcoin Bros. If you guys like this content, go ahead and smash the like button. If you haven't checked it out already, you can check us out at bitcoinbros.com. We got ebooks, crash courses. Become part of our premium Patreon pass. We appreciate each and every one of you. Go ahead and smash the like button, give us a follow, and I'm out.